All right, everyone. Well, yeah, thanks for coming in. My name's Luke. I'm the director here at Lightning Energy. So today we're going to talk about air conditioning. So just quickly, actually, who here's got solar out of interest already? Okay, most of you. Okay, and I'm assuming you've all got some kind of air conditioning, heating and cooling. What about gas ducted? Who's got gas ducted currently?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, okay.
The system's still there, but not you, is it?
Yeah, okay, okay.
Get rid of it.
I got rid of mine, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of what we're doing at the moment is basically replacing gas ducted systems with reverse cycle splits, multi-splits, VRF, ducted. There's a whole range that we can go for. All kind of subsidised, or mostly subsidised by the VEU program, so we're going to talk about that as well, so you guys know what systems are eligible to be replaced and yeah, what we can replace it with. So this is us, Lightning Energy, so it's our mission to electrify Australia. Currently we're just focusing on Melbourne. We've done Australia-wide, but we've brought back to focus on Melbourne, and then when we get a bit more momentum here, we're going to move Australia-wide again. So today we're going to talk about the heating and cooling under the VEU scheme. So exciting time, good rebates just come out this year, so it was a bit messy at the start to kind of get moving, but now everyone knows what they're doing, so it's good. We've reached a good momentum now, so next year is going to be really big. So the VEU program is by the Victorian Government, used to be called the VEET scheme. It's an initiative basically to reduce gas emissions, get rid of gas heating, and just basically get everyone off gas altogether. You might have seen in the news yesterday, they announced no, you can't replace appliances with gas anymore. So now everything's induction.
Right.
Yeah, so everything's going to be moving over to induction cooktops and everything. And even now, there's rebates on cooktops as well, which we're looking into. So if you're interested in replacing a cooktop. So yeah, but this is basically based around air conditioning for today. So yeah, we can do under the rebates that you can get under the VEU program that we're currently offering is heating and cooling, hot water heat pumps, replacing gas hot water, instantaneous electric resistance hot water, and yeah, induction cooktops are coming in at the moment as well. So how much is the rebate that you can get? Could be anywhere from $500 up to $8,000 on a residential house. So significant amount of money that's available. Generally the higher end is to replace gas ducted with a big reverse cycle system, but also multi-splits as well. There's big rebates there. So yeah, it's better if you're replacing a unit. The lower end of the rebate can be basically nothing if you're not replacing any gas ducted unit. So if you're just installing something new, then yeah, you're going to be at the lower end, potentially zero, depending on what you want. So yeah, any house in Victoria is eligible. So gas ducted heaters that we're replacing. So just so you know what you're looking at, this is your outdoor, and then indoor might be something up in the roof. So we're looking at replacing this, ripping out all the old ducting, the unit in the roof. Sometimes we might leave it in the roof. It might not be practical to remove it, but generally we're trying to get that out. And the side of the house here, this is an underfloor. Underfloor can be challenging, so yeah. We're trying to work out some solutions there, and all the ducting's under the floor. We're looking at whether we can use existing ducts or not, but generally when we can't use the existing ducts because they're not rated for the right insulation level for a reverse cycle heating and cooling unit. They're usually R1 when we should be going for R1.5. So usually we'll have to get under and reduct all of it. Does anyone here have underfloor?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. How much space underfloor do you have?
Zero. Just about. Sorry.
Okay.
I've got the other situation. I've got through ceiling gas ducted, but two-storey placement. So I don't see on the ducts that are into the ground floor ceiling. You're going to have, can't readily access those ducts.
Yeah, we can use the ducting on the top level. We can redo the ducting on the top level. Sometimes we reuse the ducting on the lower level in the ceiling space. Other times we go for multi-head split unit on the lower level. So we'll have split system units like, well, they've got some up there on the lower level. So it's really a kind of case by case thing with that. We come out and assess it to see whether we can reuse any of the ducting or not. But yeah, they're challenging as well, getting the unit up onto the double story roof and inside. So yeah, we can work with that. So this is a gas wall heater. These are the types of things we look for to replace. Does anyone have one of these? Okay.
I did have one.
Yeah, okay.
And I had it removed. I'm just looking up to see if there's all the serial numbers and all that. So.
Oh, probably miss.
I had a big space heater as well, and I got rid of that.
Okay. Probably missed the boat on the rebates because we have to come out and take photos that are geotagged, time-stamped and everything of the decommissioning of the unit. So if you've already taken it
I had
out.
a plumber do it, and he might have done that.
How long ago?
Just a few months ago.
Maybe give him a call.
They did take a lot of photos and stuff.
Okay.
Anyway.
Might be able, yeah, give him a call. See, we just need evidence of it being decommissioned at the time that we're reinstalling the new air conditioner.
Does the rebate cover the decommissioning as part as well? Or is that...
Yeah, the rebate is kind of to decommission. Like they're probably almost more interested in removing gas than they are installing the air conditioner, if that makes sense. Yeah. Which is actually a funny thing we're talking about air conditioning. I saw an article yesterday, they're talking about being able to have remotely control people's air conditioning like they do with the backstop now with solar, where they can, on a sunny day, they can limit people's solar. They're talking about basically having all the air conditioners connected to a central system. So if there's too much power going to the grid, they can limit everyone's air conditioners. I don't know if that's just a scare campaign or something, but that might be happening in the future. But the good thing about that, if they do bring that in, anyone who's installed an air conditioner now, they won't be able to see it. It'll be on new air conditioners that are installed from the time they bring in the regulation. So good idea to get onto it now. So yeah, obviously with gas, there's a lot of health risks around gas, carbon monoxide, nitrogen, something I can't even say. Yeah, build up around the house, and you get a lot of dust and stuff. If you've got a gas ducted, you get dust and mold building up in the ducts. So you can just be recirculating dirty air through the house. It can make people sick in the house. I've lived in a few houses with gas ducted. I'm like, why am I sick all the time? And then I looked in the ducts one day and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I breathed that. Obviously, we've got running costs. So environmental damage, gas bad for the environment, high running costs, really inefficient, and yeah, just not a renewable source of energy. So I get asked a lot, how much does a gas ducted cost to run? It's variable, but I think an average house in Melbourne, most of the houses built pre-2005, a little bit older, could be spending $1,500 a year running a gas ducted unit. So we really want to reduce that and really just move over to something that we can produce. So obviously if you're using a gas ducted system, you're buying gas, it's getting fracked, it's getting drilled or whatever. If you've got solar on the roof, you're generating that energy yourself. So you're going to see significant reductions in your bill if you manage to generate the energy and then funnel that energy into your heating and cooling system, which keeps your house cool. So yeah, older homes can be spending a lot more on their heating as well because they're not very inefficient. So the solutions that we offer is split system aircon. I like Daikin, it's a good brand, we do a lot with them. Lots of good brands out there. But yeah, the benefits of that's going to be really easy. We can put one in any room pretty much. Easy installation, really quiet. I mean, you all know splits. I probably don't need to convince you on that. Remote control, you can have Wi-Fi and stuff so you can control them from your app depending on what you want. So obviously we're taking cold air from outside or hot air from outside, transferring it through the refrigerant pipes, bringing it in, blowing it across the fan. That's how it works, if you're interested in how it works or if you just want to stay cool. So the rebates around split systems, if we're removing one of those instantaneous gas heaters, or if we're not commissioning anything, you could get maybe $300, and it depends on the unit, obviously, and the size of the unit. If we are removing one of the gas instantaneous, you could get $1,400 rebate around there in the VEECs, the VEECs, Victorian Energy Certificates, under the VEU program. So that can bring the cost down significantly if you can get that rebate replacing a gas unit.
You have to do it at the same time.
Non-ducted,
Yeah, has to be the same time.
non-ducted gas heater with,
Sorry, non-ducted, the wall one that I just showed you.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Which, yeah, those wall ones, they were good. I used to live next to one basically in winter back in the day. Not anymore, luckily. So the second solution that we've got for a bigger house, if you've got more rooms, multi-head split system unit. So again, we've got some of the heads up there you can have a look at after. But basically they all go back to one compressor outside. So the benefit to that is we can have one in every room, you can control them individually, and you've only got the one compressor outside rather than having lots of splits. You might have 3 or 4 splits outside. It's not going to make any sense. It's going to be pretty ugly and too much work down the side of the house. So you don't want that if you're trying to get around. So multi-head splits are a good option. Disadvantages that I find, I mean, we've got a multi-head split in the offices upstairs here. All of them have to be set to either heat or they have to be set to cool. So you can't cool one room and heat another room. Not that you would, but some families, sometimes people prefer different temperatures, so that's something to consider. Drainage can be a problem if you've got a head unit going on an internal wall inside, because we can generally get the pipes in to the unit, but we have to pump the condensation out. So we can get condensation pumps which will pump up the wall and through the roof and out, but they are known to be unreliable, so we try and avoid it where we can, because we don't want to have to deal with water leaking inside your house. So it's better if you can have them on an external wall if possible, so the condensation doesn't have to go up, it just goes straight out and drips down outside. So that's something to consider. But yeah, you can, I know Tim Forsey from My Efficient Electric Home, he loves these. He prefers these over ducted, and he said they're more efficient in the sense that they use less power because you just heat or cool the rooms that you're in, rather than a ducted air conditioner where you're basically heating the majority of the house by maybe 1 or 2 zones. But you've got 70% of the air conditioner running the whole time. Tim thinks that's inefficient. I argued with him because I prefer ducted personally. It uses a bit more energy, but it doesn't matter if you've got heaps of solar, that's what I said.
With that sort of thing, obviously you can turn them on or off individually, and they're individually, they've all got to be cooling or heating, but you can each have a separate thermostat, or?
Yeah, so you can have different, if they're all set to cool, you could have 16 degrees in one room, 20 degrees in another room. Yeah, if you're trying to complete reverse climates, you might have issues. It just won't work. So around the multi-head splits, if you're doing, we go off the total head capacity. So, if you have 2.5 kilowatt head units times 4, that would be a 10 kilowatt unit or whatever. But yeah, so if there's no decommissioning, the rebates are pretty small. But if you are decommissioning a gas ducted heater, the rebates can be really big, $3,000 to $4,000 from the government there to do that. So it's definitely worth looking into, particularly now, if you've got a gas ducted heater and you're literally not using it because it's hot, then now you might as well rip it out and do this. Hydronic. We don't do hydronic at the moment.
But I mean, decommissioning hydronic.
I'm not sure if there's rebates. There's rebates on that?
I think it's just it's just like a gas, still a gas heater.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't pull out a hydronic heater and put in another hydronic heater. like an electric one under the scheme.
Some die-hard hydronic fans though that don't. Yeah, I know. We're not really working with it, but I had one guy, I couldn't talk him out of it. So the other style you could go for, similar to multi-heads, is VRF, variable refrigerant flow. So very similar, just manages the refrigerant, but has one compressor outside, multiple heads inside the unit. Good units, flexible. The main one that's approved by the VU at the moment is Medea, which is a good brand, but it's more of an entry-level brand. So we're waiting on some other brands like Mitsubishi and Daikin to get approved for the VU rebate there. So here's an example of a house with a VRF. So it's got this branch connector here, which is interesting, splits all the pipes up so you go to different units in the house. But yeah, you can see in this house, this is what I was talking about, where you might have to drain and you have to kind of go up into the ceiling and across, because these pipes will most likely go up into the ceiling and down. But yeah, we could do a house like this, and you just have to consider it. Here you might end up with ducting along the walls there. So or what some people might do is install one multi-split system here with an outdoor unit over here, and then have another outdoor unit over here with technically a separate system. But we can only claim the rebates on one of the systems then. So generally we'd try and make one as big as possible, and then maybe have like a single split over here just to cool one extra room if we can. So yeah, here's another diagram again. Refrigerant pipes, branch header here, split off to different head units. The only thing I would say is some people don't like having the head units in the rooms. They think they're a bit... Don't like it?
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't? Yeah.
How do you determine how many units do you have in a house? Is there a formula for it? Or?
Yeah, there is. I'll get to that in a sec, system design, but yeah, we can measure the square meterage of the room and the height of the room, and then we can work out what size we need for that room.
Yep.
I've got a slide coming up on that. So yeah, VRF with the Medea unit, it's a 21 kilowatt outdoor unit, and it's eligible for 7,200 in VEEKs. So 7,200 rebates. So we're getting these, yeah, pretty cheap at the moment. Yes?
And how much does it cost? Yes, the rebate.
I think the last quote I did for a 6-head unit, it was just under 10 grand. I think 9 grand around there.
You get 7 back.
That's after the rebate. So it was about 15, yeah. So it's around 9 grand. It really depends on the house, because there's a lot of factors.
Understand that, but it's, let's say it's 15 grand and you get 7 back.
Yeah. So it'd probably be around 8 or 9 grand. It depends on the house. Yeah, you can.
You've got 7,200 as a rebate, and so you've got 80 VEEKs written there. Do you operate, are you an approved supplier yourself, or are you using an aggregator? Because the VEEKs at the moment sit at about 108, so you're calculating it at $90.
Yeah, correct. We're using an aggregator currently. We've applied to the VEU to trade directly, but because of the new scheme, they've had hundreds of retailers apply, and they keep sending me letters asking me for extensions, and then they send me back another letter saying, we need another 10 documents, you've got 1 week to reply. I'm like, are you serious? And then they send a letter back to me again saying, we want a 3-month extension to review your documents. So we've been going back and forth with the VEU for about 6 months now, trying to get approved to trade directly. But yeah, we do pay a fee. It's like $10 or $15 per VEEK fee that we pay to an aggregator. So we don't get the spot price, if you will. But yeah, so that's how that's working out. But yeah, the rebates I've put in here is just indicative, because like I said, it's actually a spot price. It does trade like the stock market a little bit. It goes up and down and depends on the exact size of the head units. So yeah, that's just a rough idea. And every house, we're finding air conditioning installations are every installation is almost totally different. So it's very hard to just be like, bang, this is our price for this. That's where, yeah, you get in trouble. But yeah, so ducted air conditioning. So this is, in my mind, the best way to do it, if you can, if you have the roof space. So the benefits of this, as opposed to your split system head units, is going to be consistent airflow to the whole house. It's just much nicer. One zone controller. It's efficient. If you're doing the whole home, it's a really efficient way of doing it. It's a good place to actually just dump energy if you've got solar on the roof rather than feeding it back to the grid. I always run my air conditioner during the day, particularly on hot days, because if I get home from work and my house is 30 degrees inside, it takes a long time to cool it down. But I've got 13 kilowatt solar system on the roof, so I might as well send that energy somewhere. So I just send it into my air conditioner and keep my house cool. So when I get home, then my air conditioner doesn't need to work so hard at 6 o'clock at night because it's kept the house cool all day. And I know mine's VRF, but mine only uses a base load of about 1 or 2 kilowatts generally if I keep the temperature down. And on a sunny day like today, I'm generating 10 kilowatts. So it just runs for free. But yeah, the other benefit is obviously just having the outlets in the roof, not having to worry about ugly head units, arguably ugly head units, depending on what you get. And an easy thing for installation is just having the one drain pipe coming out of the roof, so we're not worried about internal walls of rooms with head units trying to pump condensation up into the roof and back down. We just get around that completely. So things to consider around ducted air conditioning is, are you removing a gas ducted system is the big one. And the other thing we've been looking at is it worth replacing the insulation in the roof at the same time? So if you're removing all of the gas ducted out of the system and you're installing this unit and you're getting all your ducts taped up perfect, it doesn't make sense if you've got insulation that's blow-in insulation and crap and dead birds and stuff in there. It doesn't make sense to try and clean that after. It makes sense to do that after. Just rip the gas ducted out, clean the roof spotless, new insulation in, R6, R7, whatever you're looking at, and then reinstall the reverse cycle there. So the other benefits, you can have cool controllers and stuff. So I'll get into that in a sec. You can have air touch controller, temp sensors, different outlets, blah, blah, blah. So this is how we design the ducted air conditioning system. So do you guys all have roof plans or floor plans for your house? You can generally, if your house has been sold in the last 10 years, it's online. You can creep people out by just Googling their address and getting the floor plans for their house. So this is how we work this out. This is how we design a ducted system, and we do a similar thing with the split systems and multi-heads as well. So we just come in and we measure up the size of the rooms and we work out how many litres of air we need to cool that room, and we can work out zoning and stuff as well. So we can go through all of this with you guys if you're going down the road of ducted.
With the ducted system, these ones, can you then just have zones and turn zones on and off and that sort of thing?
Yeah, you can. So you have like one big common zone that you run because you don't want to restrict the aircon. So you have your one common zone will be your living area, kitchen, whatever, and then bedrooms will be zone controls.
The existing gas ducted it's got like 3 different zones. I can have them on or off if I want to. I must admit they're usually always on, but there is that capability, and we built a 4-bedroom house, and of course the kids left immediately afterwards, and so we probably don't really need to be heating the whole house.
Yeah, we can zone it up, definitely. So yeah, we redo all that, damper motors, zone controllers and everything. So, yeah, so here you can see we can measure it up. We can have different units here, different bedrooms. We know the size of the room, the volume, we know the airflow. So we know each room here, bed 1, 2 kilowatts, 1.5 kilowatts. A really good way of doing it is, Polyplan is this program. So this is what you're aiming for. This old unit's got to go. and then replace it with something nice like this so we can hang it in the roof, drip tray under it, usually, not in that photo. So yeah, hopefully you guys have all got big roof spaces. You know, if you've got underfloors are fun. We can put these under the floor as well, if there's enough room. So this is an installation we did a couple weeks ago. That's basically what we rip out of the roof. And yeah, you know, some of these ducts have been there 30 years. So I don't know about you, but I don't really want to be breathing anything that's just been circling through that. This is the insulation. So blow-in insulation here. We can get a big vacuum, suck it all out, clean it all out. So as I said before, it's definitely worth considering that at the same time. It's just a good time to do it. And your air conditioner will work a lot more effectively as well if you do have better insulation in the roof. Yes? We can. We have a partner that we work with. So we can do it. We can organise the whole job in-house. So yeah, we can do that. Pro Insulation. So yeah, we can organise the whole thing. This is what we've been doing a lot of lately, is people that they're removing the gas, heating and cooling, removing the gas, hot water. They're doing solar, battery, car charging and insulation. So we can offer the full package to basically gut the whole house and then redo it. So it's getting to the point now where we're like almost saying to people, just book a hotel for the week, give us the keys for your house, and by Friday it'll be done. So yeah.
So that's an add-on service. What's the sort of price point at the moment for, say, like a standard 160 square metre?
It's about $3,000 to $5,000.
Redo the installation?
Yeah, yeah.
So can you do it yourself? Like, can you?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, yeah. You could organise. We could remove the gas ducted on Monday. You could do the installation on Tuesday, and then we could come back on Wednesday. So yeah, other things to consider is the type of outlets that you want. Whether you want a cone diffuser, looks nice, jet diffuser, or old school multi-directional outlet. So, like I said, these look much better than head units, and just blend into the ceiling. So it's worth that. So controllers, you can go with a standard controller. You can switch your zones here, or you can go with something like the AirTouch 5. It's a great controller which you can control on your phone. It's basically a Samsung tablet that sits in your house, and you can actually go browse the internet and stuff and do almost anything a Samsung tablet can do. It's based on Android. We've got one just up there as well, so you can have a look up there. But yeah, I know some people have the background. I've seen people put a photo of the house as the background as well. So there's cool stuff you can do with the AirTouch. Yeah, arguably more efficient with the AirTouch because it zones better. You can do geofencing, so when you drive within a few kilometres of your house, it'll turn on your air conditioner before you get there, or you can do it via the app. It's compatible with VRF. Gives you an air quality score as well. So a few cool things you can do there. So the rebates around replacing gas ducted with reverse cycle could be anything up to $6,500 on a 12 kilowatt or 15 kilowatt system. So it's good, really good rebates available around reverse cycle at the moment. So definitely worth looking into. Can potentially be the most difficult to install for us, getting up there doing the ducts in the roof. I think the split system, the multi-head splits are preferable to installers, but yeah, this will probably give you, I think this will give you the best outcome. So running costs on that could be anything up to $1,500 a year running costs. But if you have solar, you could get your running costs down $500 a year. A lot less. Like I said, basically during the day I don't pay anything to run my air conditioner.
What sort of level did you think it'd save during winter to heat your house? For you?
Yeah.
How much power would you be needing to do it?
Yeah, winter's hard, I think.
Like the one who's heating the seats. And
yeah.
I've got well, an end-phase-based sort of system at home at the moment, and I've got a couple of end-phase batteries on board.
Okay.
So, yeah, at the moment, charge up during the day, I'm using the power, I'm basically not buying, well, I get a tiny trickle, I use about 0.4 or 0.5 of a kilowatt a day.
Yep.
That's about it at all. But I'm just thinking, in winter, obviously, I don't get the solar generation that I get in summer and et cetera, et cetera. I'm just thinking I'll be back to having to be buying serious amounts of power again.
Depends on your house. So I've got a double-storey house, and in winter on a really cold day, we could use anything up to 4 kilowatts of power heating both levels of the house. So if it was one level, maybe 2 kilowatts of power. But on a cold sunny day, sometimes you'd be lucky to be generating 2 kilowatts from the roof. So yeah, you do buy power from time to time.
I'm happy enough to do that, but I'm just sort of working out the sort of volumes. And yeah, I've got 2-story.
Winter's so hard.
I've got a relatively small 2-story place. But yeah, and so yeah, I've got limited. I mean, the other issue is how size big the units are, because I haven't got that much outdoor space to. But anyway.
Yeah, multi-head or ducted, yeah. Look, it's going to be 2 or 3 months of the year where pretty much everyone has a power bill. You're pretty lucky no matter what you've done. But then you can get into a credit over summer. But yeah, some days we only generate 10 kilowatt hours across the whole day on a 13 kilowatt system. It's better if you have a battery and you can store it, or maybe you could charge.
Like I say, I'm storing it at the moment. I've got the batteries.
It's still, I've got to say, it still is a lot cheaper to run the reverse cycle off. Like if you're buying electricity in winter, if you look at how many, like what you pay per megajoule of gas, if you times that by your consumption might be, your heater might be a 100 megajoule heater. And then you look at if you're buying 3 kilowatts of electricity, it's still going to work out cheaper, even if you're buying the power, than it is to run your gas. And gas is, obviously going up a lot in price as well.
The house is only just over 10 years old and fairly reasonably efficient. And so, I must admit, I've never had a gas bill more than $300 or $400 is a big absolute maximum in the winter gas bill. So I'm not sort of huge amounts, but that's running for heating the whole house.
I'm still working out how I can do some fracking in my backyard. So haven't figured it out yet, so I'm just going to stick with electricity for now. But yeah. And there you go, there's a picture of me. Look, so that's pretty much it. Now, I've got Rob here. He's one of our suppliers. He's been in the air conditioning industry, 20, 30 years?
About 15 years.
15 years, okay. So I brought Rob down for a Q&A because I can answer a lot of questions, but I think Rob's just a wealth of information, and he's going to have a lot deeper answers and be able to go into a lot more technical detail with you guys. So basically, we're just going to open it to the floor for a Q&A. If you guys want to talk about your specific examples, that's fine, and we work through it. All right. Question at the back? Yeah.
Oh, well, I've removed the big column gas heater already. I have to work out about the rebates, and also the big space heater. I kind of had to. I bought a house just this year. I sort of urgently had to move. It's an old commission house, 50s house, brick. It's 2 bedroom. It's very small. It's joined to another house. I've just had a new roof replacement, so it's all been blanketed and insulated and everything, brand new roof, colour bond. So there's just 2 rooms, lounge, kitchen, 2 bedrooms, that's it. What's the best thing to do, do you think, with that one?
I'll just put a small ducted in. That's what I'll do. It just depends on, like the split systems, they are cheaper to run, but with a ducted, you just get a much nicer temperature through the house. So, it just depends how many people are in the house, really. And if
it's only going to be me. At the moment, there's my son, but I'm trying to build the house out the back.
Yeah, well, a split would be cheaper to run, but you do get hot and cold spots with the split system. If you're sitting in, someone sits in front of the, where the air's blowing out directly. So with a ducted, you just get that nicer temperature through the house. So, and I wouldn't put any zoning on a system that big. Because with the zoning, you sort of need 5 outlets on at any time. So if you've only got 2 bedrooms, it would just be the whole house on or off. But I'd be putting the small ducted in. But yeah, because you've already pulled out the heater, I don't think you're going to get the rebate. You can get Veeks for no decommissioning, but yeah, it's a small amount. But it still is worth doing. At the end of the day, you've got to heat and cool your house. So I'll be going a little ducted.
Yeah, I do find the splits are annoying sometimes when you're moving around the house. You get hot spots, cold spots.
100%.
They're kind of, in my opinion, splits are kind of like a Band-Aid fix. They work, but...
Yeah, and then you've got the split system in your room as well. You know, instead of putting it on the wall, you might want a nice piece of art. You know what I mean? And then you walk into the room, like people always used to say, oh, I want it in the middle of the room. And then when you walk in, you're like, hang on a minute, it takes over the whole room. You've got this big indoor unit. You know what I mean? You're better off, put an art piece there, put a portrait there, whatever, and then, have it coming from the ceiling if you can. But obviously sometimes you can't.
It's best to do the ceiling, not the floor. It's always better to do the ceiling.
Well, yeah, heating always works better from the floor because obviously hot air rises. Cooling works better from the ceiling. But they still work. Like at my house, I've got all mine comes through the floor. It still, cools the house down perfectly, but you can feel that coolness coming through the floor. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's the same as when you have heating coming through the roof, like new homes that are on slabs, it all comes through the roof. So you just sort of feel that when it starts warming up, you sort of feel it on your head and then it sort of travels down. But yeah, either way, it works through the floor or through the roof, but you are very limited if you're putting it through the floor. So they can have an underfloor unit, so they're the only unit you can really install under the floor. So a lot of the other brands, because they've got R32 refrigerant, you're not allowed to install that under the floor. So what they can do, they have a special, on that thermostat that you showed, it's got all the buttons on it, they've got a built-in sensor. So with R32, it's like a flammable refrigerant. It's completely safe, but the theory is if it did leak underneath your house, Dakin will automatically turn the fan on and blow it out, blow any any refrigerant that leaks out. So I'd always try and put it in the roof if you can, because you just get a better with the return air as well. You get a nicer. You're not trying to dig the ground out, or a lot of the times with existing houses you've got a return air from your gas heater, and if you look under the floor, you can only sort of fit one duct onto that. So then you've got to branch that off onto two ducts. So you want sort of with return airs, you want as much air as you can to be sucked through the return air. That's why if you put it in the ceiling, you've got a nice big grill, you've got no restrictions in the air. But if you do pull it out from under the floor, that's another thing. You've got outlets on the floor that aren't being used anymore. So then,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you go. Yeah.
How big are the units? I mean, I'm thinking at the moment, for instance, I've physically got a gas heater unit for the units in the ceiling. And I'd be happy to get rid of that and everything else. But also, I was thinking, how big are these units or whatever you're putting into the ceiling in terms of access? I think I've got a single manhole into the ceiling. And
so what we do, we put them in. A lot of the units, they're splittable. The fan coils, you can split them in half. Yep. Then we cut. Like when we cut the return air hole, we just feed it up through the return air hole.
So we can split this into two and pass it up. Yeah. Manhole through tiles. Yeah, you can. It's best not to go through the roof, but the installers will always, because things are getting disturbed, it's a dusty environment, you want as much natural light in as you can, so they'll usually get on the roof, lift tiles up, just to let that light in and let air in.
I've got a Calabon roof. So.
Yeah, well, if you've got a Calabon roof, it's going in through the return air hole.
Yeah. Sorry. Your question.
Yeah, you mentioned the bulkhead unit. I'm assuming that's a second system with it. So currently, obviously, rebates are only on one product decommissioned to another. Obviously, a new product, but the solution is to generate multiple systems. So that significantly increases the price, I'm assuming.
Well, what the rebates are on the outdoor unit, so they'll look at, say, what outdoor unit you're installing. They don't care. Yeah. Yeah. You can have a one-to-one, you can have it on a multi, you can have it on a VRF. You can have it however you want, but it doesn't go on. So split systems, it's obviously one per room. You can only have I think you can decommission 5 different. No, I think you can decommission 3 things in the house, and you can have 2 no decommissioning. So you'd be getting the axe, you know, depending on what you're doing, you'd get Veeks. You know, if you're pulling out, say, a wall furnace, you might get Veeks. If there's another gas heater in another room, you can pull that as well and get more Veeks for that. But yeah, if you want to do it under the rebate scheme, you can just have, it just goes off the outdoor unit.
Yeah, a lot of different options you can do there. That's why it's very hard to. We need to dive into each house individually, get the floor plans like I showed you. You know, site inspection, come out, have a look. Yeah, more questions?
Are the rebates going to sort of reduce next year, 2025, or do you think
That is for the VEU. I don't believe so.
I think they stay the same.
Yeah, so the STC rebates, there's rebates for solar, and the STC rebate applies to hot water as well. So hot water is an interesting one because there's 3 rebates. There's a solar VIC, there's a VEU rebate, and there's STC. So the STC rebate is reducing, so hot water systems like heat pumps are going to get a little bit more expensive next year. Solar is the same. Solar is going to get a little bit more expensive next year, but I don't think there's going to be any changes to the VEU scheme, so air conditioning is going to stay the same. So
quickly, just on that one, the VIC, the amount, because you've got 2 different variables there. You've got the VIC pricing, which is the certificate price, which you calculated, I think, at 90.
yeah,
So the stakeholders VEU pricing has just come out, I think, yesterday or the day before, which just says that their current projections put VICs at around $52 by the end of next year, which in the industry, you know that's an absolute
the highly volatile the VEEKs can be. It's a bit like trading crypto or something. So it's a bit risky. So look, at the moment the VEEKs are high now, so jump in while they're high.
Now is the best time.
Yeah.
And solar as well, the panel prices are low. Like compared to like a year ago or 2 years ago, like yeah, if you name something that's like I say to people, what's something else that's gone down in price? I can't think of anything. Lettuce, anything you buy, everything's just gone up. Panel price has dropped. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a good time, like yeah, for solar to be buying panels now, and then yeah, like you said, if the rebate drops down to 50.
That's what their current modelling suggests.
Who said that?
So I'm actually mates with the guy who does the modelling for the VEU, so I'm getting a call after his webinar on Thursday with the VEU.
Okay.
The VEU did their webinar for current projections and targeting, and so they're talking about the targets that they want to submit in creations. However, because the current penalty rate for failure to meet VIC targets is about $90 at the moment, so we are currently falling short of VIC creation. There's not enough VICs being created to meet the RIC scheme.
Okay.
But what that means is that if they don't buy the VICs, the wholesalers like Euros and that, they end up paying about $90 in fines anyway. So even though modelling suggests it'll drop to about 52, if there's still a shortfall, I can't see how it could drop below 90 or far below 90.
It's interesting. I think the demand will be pretty high because the biggest constraint that we have for air conditioning is installers. And I know every air conditioning company, we all get together and just whinge about installers, basically, just the lack of. So yeah, as we try to electrify Victoria and decommission the gas, the biggest thing is going to be skilled labour, particularly 2025, as I think this is still fairly new, this scheme. As it really takes off next year, finding the people to do the work. I used to do this when I was about 18 years old, get up in the roof and do all the ducting myself. Even I'm too old for it now. But yeah, finding people that can get up and do that is difficult.
And the right people, like professional people. Because like taping duct in the roof, it's a hard job. And every single day you wake up and you open a manhole and you're climbing in. It's like a young man's job. Like, yeah. When you get to say 35, a lot of people have. Yeah, 20 to 30 is like most of the young guys sort of do it. But
we have good AC installers. They generally handle the piping, the compressor, and the connections and stuff like that. And then we have the apprentices doing a lot of the duct work. But you're looking at that 18 to 25-year-old kind of range, where obviously you don't want them too young because you don't want them to put their foot through a roof. But then once they're over 25, they don't want to do the job anymore. So yeah, there's a short window. I don't know. But yeah, so all right, we've got more questions. Yes.
Yes, you're talking predominantly Victoria. How does this scheme compare to other states, particularly like New South Wales? Are the rebates higher in New South Wales versus Victoria?
I'm not aware of a rebate on air conditioning in New South Wales.
No, Victoria's the only one at the moment.
Yeah, the only.
Is looking at it for next year.
Yeah, New South Wales, funny, they seem to be following Victoria with their rebate schemes a little bit. They've just taken on a battery rebate there, and they've taken on a hot water rebate as well. So these are things that Victoria's had for a couple years. So yeah, Victoria is really leading the way in Australia with electrification or in the world.
New South Wales is as generous with rebates and whatnot. They're very slow in New South Wales.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
They're higher for some things.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're better for some things. I don't know. I think there's maybe
Rebate now.
They have a battery rebate. I think they're maybe 2 or 3 years behind on electrification at least. But yeah, we are lucky in Victoria. We're the only people in Australia that have a rebate on air conditioning. So
Victoria has historically been a state where we're sort of guinea pig of new programs anyway, like smart meter implementation and so forth, where well ahead of every other state and territory in the country anyway. So if it works here, it normally gets modeled out for the states anyway.
more questions? Yeah.
Have you guys come across any houses that have like a hybrid solution where like they've got ducted, but the second floor was just too hot, like and then they had like some splits on the top or something like that?
Yeah.
Or is that just like a case of a?
I would say yes.
You're saying what are you saying? So you're saying the ducted you're saying the heater you've got at the moment, it's too hot upstairs and not hot enough downstairs, or what are you saying?
Yeah, it's too hot on the second floor.
Yeah, it all comes down to the duct design. This is where the Air Touch 5 comes into play as well, because you can move the air around, like to what rooms need the air. So if you have, like you were saying, I think it was in your case, where you've got a double-storey house, you want to use your existing ducting, you don't want to cut all the plaster out. So you might have, say, 2 or 3 droppers already. Yeah, back to your question, it's just about zoning and duct designing. So with the old heaters, a lot of the time they're not designed properly, so the duct lengths aren't, balanced properly. So you're getting more heat upstairs, and then because hot air rises, it's harder to push that hot air down the ducts than it is than the cold air. So with an air touch, it'll just shut those rooms off if they're too hot, and it'll just pump the air downstairs. So yeah, we'd always recommend trying to use, because obviously the gas heating ducts are a lot smaller, the cooling ducts are a lot bigger. Because cold air is heavier, you need a bigger duct to push that cold air through. So using the existing gas ducts, they are undersized, so you might have to have like a couple of common points in the upstairs, in the walk, like where the stairs are or whatever. But yeah, it'll push all the air down.
And top level.
And then, if it doesn't work, then you put a wall split downstairs. So instead of doing it all at the same time, the beauty is with wall splits, you can put them in whenever you want. So I'd always recommend put the ducted in the roof first, try and zone it. Like the cost to put an extra 2 or 3 zones is minimal. See if it works downstairs for the cooling. With the heating, you'll have no problem. But with the cooling, if it's not cooling downstairs enough, then then you can put a split system in later in that one room or something that's not cooling.
Not cooling enough upstairs, not downstairs.
Yeah, well, if it's too hot upstairs, then it'll automatically blow the hot air downstairs if you have like the temperature sensors. And seeing these, they've also got, so you can have an actual sensor, like the temperature sensor will automatically, open and close that zone, Or you can, if you don't have sensors, there's like an air touch too, and then you've got a percentage of air. So you can open up whatever zones you want, and then you can turn it down in a percent from say 5% to 100%, and choose how much air. So if you've got too much air blowing in one room, like if you've got a house and you've got a north-facing bedroom and a south-facing bedroom, and you've just got a zone that just does all the bedrooms, one bedroom needs more air than the other one, right? So by having these sort of zoning systems, you can automatically balance it yourself. So the sensor will just automatically close that zone, or if you've got a manual one, you can actually just do it on your phone. You know, you can say this room's north-facing, I might put that to 100% air. This one's south-facing, I might put that to 30% air. And then through that whole period, you'll hardly ever need to change it. It's just being able to balance it, like so you don't have those problems you've got now, because you can balance the systems out.
So you, at the end of the day, the deal is that you've got to come out and have a look at our house to see what the best setup is for us.
Yeah, look, we can do it. If you've got the floor plans and it's a single story, 4-bedroom house, we might not need to, but it is better. If it's in any way complicated, it's better that we come out and have a look at it, make sure that we design the right system.
Yep.
If we're talking hybrid systems and multi-levels and stuff, it's better we come out.
It's also good to have like the installer come out to look at it before, you know, if it's a little bit complicated. Like you can design everything on the computer, you agree to everything, but it's always good if that installer comes for those complicated jobs and has a look at it. Just so as well on the day, you're not going to run out of material, you know what I mean? Because you want to get it done as quick as you can. You don't want him going there, I didn't order this, I didn't order that, you know what I mean, on the day.
At a minimum...
Can you request that the installer be present for the inspection?
Yeah, we do that. So depending on the installation, we pretty much always, at the moment, we're booking a site inspection for every job. So even if we do quote it off the floor plans, we'll book the installer to come do the site inspection, and then he goes and does the bill of materials. So then we put in the order through Rob, he's our supplier, make sure we've got all the right ducting and everything there ready to go, so we can get it done in 1-2 days and it's not going to blow out. We make sure we fix any issues before we go ahead, because sometimes people, they come to us and they give us the plans and they're just like, give me the price, I want to know what it's going to cost. So we're like, okay, cool. We 95% sure it's going to cost this, but are you okay with that? Yeah, okay, that's in my budget. All right, let me book my installer to go round. But you know, there's some instances, some people are only available on a Saturday, and I'm like, I've got to pay my A-grade installer double time to go there on a Saturday, do a site inspection. So sometimes we wait till we've got some level of a commitment, like a deposit, before we go and iron out those last few issues.
Get all the information you need up front.
But yeah, like, you know, if you live in, I assume you guys don't live too far from here. If you live in the area and say, hey, this is what I want to do, come round, we'll just drive around, have a look, sort it out. So yeah, we're happy to work in with you guys. Yeah.
Sorry, does this small unit,
Yeah.
is that heat and cool?
Yeah.
Does both, okay.
Yeah.
And it's got dehumidifier as well. So that's a function a lot of people don't use. It's like dry.
Yeah.
So yeah, at my house, I don't even run mine on cooling. I just run it on dry. Unless it's like on Monday when it's 40, I'll be running it. But yeah, on dry, it's just, you know, it's just a lot more comfortable. It's just like a dehumidifier.
Room temperature air blowing, but without
Yes. Yeah, it is room, but it's cooler than room temperature air, but it just takes that humidity out of the air, and yeah, it just makes it a lot more comfortable.
It filters the air as well, keeps the air nice and clean.
Is it the dry setting just like it's on reverse, like what's still in cool mode, it's just got a lot of fan speed?
Yes, to a degree. It is, but yeah, it is a lot lower.
So in terms of the size of the unit, so if you're going to put a ducted system in, you're going to have a big compressor outside somewhere, and then the rest of the things sitting in the roof?
For ducted, yeah, most of it will be up in the roof. So we'll have, the indoor units up in the roof, and the ducts in the roof, vents, and then just one outdoor compressor, so we've got a couple there.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if
one
we
of the problems I've got is a lack of sort of space outside. You know, I've got one common wall, and then, so I haven't got a huge amount of space, and you know, at the moment, for instance, I've got two compressors for the two splits that are there, but that's about the only space. I'm wondering if I'd almost be better to rip those two out and just put the
We might have to. It sounds like a site inspection type job, but
definitely.
we might have to. We might be able to do something like put the new compressor up on brackets so it sits up high above the other ones. So there's options for things like that we can do depending on the size of the unit.
Yeah, no, as I'm just also sort of thinking, I mean, I don't particularly like the heads in the, and if I was putting a ducted in because I don't want the heating, do I, are the other two splits, even though they're only 10 years old, are they, past their...
You got to look at the house and see what's the best.
Yeah.
You can put them on the roof as well, the compressors or the split system compressors.
Two-story plates, so that's not...
Yeah, not on a two-story.
Not a great idea.
Yeah, if you've got a garage or a flat roof, they work better. Obviously, we don't want to put them in the sun. We don't want to take away space for the solar. You know what I mean? You don't want to put an air conditioner that's going to make shadows and everything.
Yeah, we could put brackets on the roof and mount it on the roof, but the installers hate it. They do nothing. They do nothing but complain.
You want to put it in the shade if you can, because on those hot days, you've got that radiant heat. It's going to work a lot harder.
I've currently got a gas instantaneous hot water, and I wouldn't mind putting the thing on, but I'm just thinking, where am I going to put it?
Yeah. You can even send us photos if you contact us, flick us some photos.
I'm happy to get you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Question. Sorry. Yeah. Oh yeah. You go. Then you go. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm convinced. I live just down the road. When do you want to come and do an inspection? It's too hard to describe.
I've got to go see the kids after this, but maybe Monday or Tuesday we'll organise something. Maybe just talk to Blake at the back before you go out. Just give him your details, and we'll organise something. Yeah.
So Lightning Energy, when doing installs, are your electricians, are they subcontracted? Are they employees? Are they, because
So,
when we're doing site inspections,
yeah.
if they're contracted, then I'm assuming that falls on you as a cost, and then by virtue that's all obviously passed on to the customer at some point.
Yeah. So I'm an electrician myself. So I've installed air conditioners a lot in the past. Like I said, when I was an apprentice, I did a good few years of air conditioning, and we've brought it back recently. I employ electricians directly, and some of those electricians are refrigeration as well. They've got their Arctic license to do both. So we've got 2 of those people working for us at the moment, a bunch of apprentices. So we've got 5 in-house teams, basically about 22 employees in-house, employed by me directly. And then we do have a network of subcontractors as well that we call on from time to time to handle kind of workflow. But a lot of the subcontractors we work with are actually people that worked with me full time. Some of them since first year apprentice, they worked with me for 4 or 5 years, and then they said, I want to go out and do my own thing. Can you still give me some work? So I've got about 3 or 4 people like that at the moment. So we're probably about 80% in-house, 20% contractor, but most of those guys have worked with me for years anyway, so we've got a pretty good relationship with them.
You can get them back if you need them.
Yeah, 100%. Look, and even when we use contractors, look, there have been times where, they've shut their business down and moved to Sydney or something like that. And we still go fix an issue. If there's an issue, I'm just like, it's annoying, don't get me wrong, but I'll just go, well, I'm just going to have to send my in-house guy around to fix it. It's going to cost a couple $100 of my money. You guys have a warranty. What are you going to do?
My opinion, if you want something, like all the best installers are contractors. Right? So if you get a certain amount of money to get in this roof and do this job, right? So if you're an employee doing this sort of work, you think about the calibre of person, you know what I mean? How much do they want to make to do this every day? So with contractors, you get better. As a guy grows, you know what I mean? He wants to start his own business. He's got his own van. He's got his own boys. You know what I mean? They're the sort of tradesmen you want working on your house, right? So employees, of course, you've got your own employees. But if you get a good contractor, right? They will, don't think, because people will ask, if you're using contractors or you're using, employees. With ducted air cons, solar's a lot different, right? But I'm saying with this sort of work, a contractor, a good contractor, will do it a lot faster and a better job than a lot of employees. It's not every employee, but as a rule of thumb, don't get discouraged for a contractor.
Yeah. I've spent the last 5 years refining my employees. We've had a lot of people kind of come and go, and it's interesting now. I put ads on Seek for employees, and sometimes the people, you just see the same dregs of the industry. They're almost like the people they got fired from another company, and I can call up someone like Rob, say, hey, you know this person? Yeah, we fired that person. Okay, I'm not going to hire him. But there is, I definitely agree that, look, there's good and bad. There's good in-house employees and there's good contractors, and like we've seen bad contractors, but I think for me, it's just about filtering them out over time. Unfortunately, sometimes you do have to try these people to find out what they're like, but when you've been in the industry for a long time like us, you pretty much know, You have to get like gas plumbers and things. Well, this is the thing. This is the problem. So like I said, I'm an electrician. I employ electricians directly, but I'm actually not allowed to employ a plumber because I'm not a licensed plumber. So we do gas disconnections, and some people are straight fridgies. They only do refrigeration. So some of these jobs, to do this job in particular, we have to get a plumber out to disconnect the gas. We have to have a fridgie there. We have to have a sparky there, and we have to have people that are prepared to spend a day or two doing all the duct work. So apprentices or sometimes labourers. So we need to manage a whole bunch of different trades, and to do a big job like this, and like obviously we do solar and battery as well, it is very difficult to have them all direct employees of the company. So yeah, we do have contractors that we lean on, particularly plumbing, for example. We have, our plumbing jobs, we have a plumber, but we send our in-house sparky to do the electrical. So it gets very involved. Yeah. More questions or? All right.
If you're
one more.
Is it cheaper to do the hot water at the same time, or does it not make any difference?
It doesn't really make a difference for the hot water. We might do a deal on it a little bit, but yeah, it's about the same. Like I said, because actually, some refrigeration guys have a license to do plumbing disconnects. So sometimes we wouldn't need a plumber, but yeah, it is good if we can do it all in one hit. Yeah, the more the better.
One disconnection of the heating and water at the same time.
Yeah. Well, they could go outside, do the gas, hot water, you disconnect that, go on the roof, disconnect that. So, yeah. All right, any more questions or? Pretty good. All right, well, yeah, we're going to hang around here for a little bit. So if you have any questions, come talk to me or Blake. And if you guys are interested, probably chat to Blake or me and give us your details, and we'll contact you guys on Monday and we can go into further detail, talk about, floor plans and designs and stuff like that then. Thanks, Rob. Very helpful to have you in. Cool. All right, thanks, guys.